Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be so fun. I figured, you know what? I've got a lot of new products from MAC, so let's do a almost full face of MAC Cosmetics. I have several of their products that have become staples in my collection. We have both of the new versions of foundation to test out today, and I decided to do side by side. So one side is the old version and one side is the new. The MAC Dazzle Shadow Sticks. I have Gold Stud and Subliminal Spark. You'll get to see how those perform. And then a couple of just random new products that I wanted to throw in today's video because I didn't have them in MAC products. So I have the new Polite Society Cabana Club Blurring Bronzer, the new Morphe Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trio Blush, and the new e.l.f. Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balms. I have Strawberry Shortcake and Vanilla Toffee, so you will get to see all of this in today's video. I hope you all will subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and if you are curious about these products and how they perform on a 38-year-old combination textured skin type, then just keep on watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and yeah, let's get into it. I went ahead and started on my brows because I do not own any new brow products from MAC. I don't believe I've ever tried any of MAC's brow products. I'm just a creature of habit when it comes to that. I have very sparse brows, and it's sometimes very challenging for me to make them look even. This is the Soft Ochre Pro Longwear Paint Pot. These are very similar in consistency to like the NARS Soft Matte. They have several different shades that you can choose from. If you have more of a cool pink undertone, the shade Painterly is a good option to use as an eye primer. Painterly and Soft Ochre are the two that work best for skin tones similar to mine. You could use them for many different purposes, but for me, I've always used Soft Ochre as an eye base. It looks a little yellow at first, but once you apply powder and eyeshadow on top, it looks fine. Before we move on with the eyes, I just wanted to go ahead and use the MAC Prep and Prime on my lips. It kind of has a very mild coconut kind of scent to it, and it literally blurs your lip lines. That's what it does. It really does. It smooths everything out. I want to test this out later on when we jump into concealer. I'll probably put this on here in just a little bit on one side. I just want to see if it's similar to doing like the Aquaphor trick under your eye. I think I'm just going to use the MAC Prep and Prime under this eye, and then I won't use anything on this side, and we'll see if there's a difference. Only reason I'm a little scared to put it under my eyes is because after just a few seconds, my lips still feel smooth, but they don't feel hydrated, which is weird. So I feel like this is just meant to put on to smooth your lip lines before you put on lipstick. Say you're a matte lipstick person, I think this would really help smooth out your lines before you put on a matte lipstick. I'm going to use a little bit of this Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Mask. I have it in the shade Icing. I'm going to use just a little bit of this on top because I like my lips to feel hydrated. Let's move on to eyes, and I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, should I go ahead and do eyeliner first? Should I put down some eyeshadow first? I don't really know. First, I just want to show you these products and kind of get a feel for them, and then I'll decide how I want to use them. These are the MAC Dazzle Shadow Eyeshadow Sticks. I have the shades Gold Stud and Subliminal Spark. Typically, if I'm going to use like a stick eyeshadow formula, I would try to just do like a one and done look. I'm just not sure if these two will go together. So let's kind of swatch them, play around with them for a second, and then figure it out. So Subliminal Spark is the deepest shade that I have. It's a taupey rose shade is how I would describe it. It's not rose gold because the reflect is more silver. If light is not directly hitting it, it's more of this taupey pink shade. But as soon as the light hits it, you see the silver reflect on top of that pink. The reason I'm a little conflicted is because this Gold Stud shade, which appears white, but when you put it on the skin, it's more of like a gold to silver. So I'm not sure how those two are going to look side by side on the eyelid. I mean, they're not going to look terrible, but they're so like transparent and just glittery. They don't have a ton of base to them. I don't know how they're going to look as just like a one and done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly hop off camera. I'm going to apply just a little bit of matte eyeshadow to my crease and to the outer V, and then we'll pop those all over the lid. Give me just 1 second. All right, I just went ahead and threw a little bit of the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes on the eyes. I did just a little bit of this under the brow bone, a little bit of this taupey shade and this camel brown mixed together in the crease and the outer V. Now I'm going to use the MAC Costa Riche eyeliner, and I'm going to create a little bit of a wing. That way I have everything ready, and then I can just lay the shadow sticks down, and they can be my shimmer on the lid. But I want to go ahead and create the wing, because sometimes if you try to do eyeliner on top of glitter or shimmer, it can be very challenging. All right, so I did a little bit of a wing. We'll perfect it in a minute, but let's try a little bit of Subliminal Spark. I'm going to put it out here. I'm just going to go directly on the lid with this, and then I'll blend it with a brush, but I just want to use a little of Subliminal Spark first. And I'm just going to take a Morphe Aerial brush. It's just like a little flat shader brush. It's A29. And I just want to make sure that this is pressed down and that it's not going to go anywhere. I'm taking this over farther than I normally do. I just want, I don't know, just something a little different. Kind of one and done, but also I had to do a little bit of work underneath because these don't have a lot of pigment to them. But just simple. I'm going to go into Gold Stud. And we're going to apply that everywhere else. Yeah, I was kind of worried how the gold and the silver would play together on the lid, and it is a little funky. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the Subliminal Spark over top to bring back some more silver to the look. So I'm going to bring it all the way. And just mainly use Subliminal Spark today. We'll just use Gold Stud as a little bit of a inner corner moment. I don't know if I'm loving it. I'm trying to love it, but I don't know if I am. I just feel like on the lid, it just looks like a bunch of glitter. And it's just taking away everything underneath. Let's just try Gold Lust by itself. And I'm just going to be very careful how much I apply. And I want to keep it just on the lid. And I don't want to take it too far over. I just want this to be my shimmer on the lid and see what that looks like. As of right now, these aren't really impressing me like I thought they would. Okay, I'm liking this better, just keeping it focused on the lid. I will remove this eye and then come back and just do this all over. But at least you got to see two different styles of how you can wear this product. I just prefer this side with just Gold Lust, and we'll see how it wears. It's not looking too hot on the lid right now. I don't know if it's interacting with the MAC paint pot, but it's, oh man, I'm gonna really get close so I can hopefully show you what I'm talking about. It's kind of gathering and patching on my lid. I'm going to remove both sides, and we're just going to have to, like, the swatch looks beautiful, but it might be a product that you can't wear any eye primer underneath or something, but it looked terrible just now. Absolutely terrible. So I'm just going to use a little micellar water, try to remove this without removing all of my brow work that I did. And we're going to come back and I'm just going to have to start over with a new eye look and then we'll move on. Listen, I was going to try to give these a second chance. I thought I'm going to remove everything. I'm not going to apply any eye primer and I'm just going to put these on the lid. But then when I removed everything, the amount of glitter all over my body right now, all over my face, is insane. I went ahead and just applied a little bit of the Ethereal Eyes Mattes in the Divina Cosmetics. I wanted to use the shade Crimson Mocha. This shade right here is like a favorite. This is not new, but I wanted to show you. I have two different primers. I've got the MAC Studio Fix, the mattifying 12-hour shine control primer, and I've also got the Prep and Prime Natural Radiance. From what I remember, it's just like a lotiony primer that gives a very soft radiance to the skin. Just a very hydrating primer. I'm going to put a little bit of this around the perimeter of my face, and then I'll use the MAC Studio Fix where my pores are the largest because I'm more of a textured combo skin person, so I typically reach for more blurring, mattifying, long-lasting type primers. But sometimes a natural hydrating primer is actually good for people with combo skin too. Sometimes combo skin people need hydration. Sometimes you need to be blurred. For me, it's mostly here where I have the largest pores, you know, here between my brows, my nose, and a little on my chin. For the most part, that's where my pores are the largest and where I get the most shine breakthrough throughout the day. They just came out with a new version of the MAC Stack. I have tried the MAC Stack mascara in the past and I liked it. I wasn't like a huge fan of it, but it was okay. I'm just going to go ahead and do that really quick and then we'll move on to complexion. Let's move on to foundation. I have the new reformulated MAC Studio Fix Fluid Broad Spectrum SPF 15 24-hour matte foundation plus oil control, and I have it in the shade NC27. I follow a creator on YouTube. Her name is Makeup by Cheryl, and we are very similar in skin tone, especially when we're self-tanned. I'm like kind of self-tanned right now, so I don't know how well this is going to work for me. We're going to test it out and see. Instantly, you'll notice this has a pump. The old MAC formula does not. So let's just pump a little bit of this out on my hand, my glittery hand here. That's NC27. It's going to be close, but I might need to add a little bit of pigment, but we're going to see. Let's just let that sit for a second. My old formula here, I have it's just MAC Studio Fix Fluid SPF 15, Broad Spectrum SPF 15. That's all it says. It doesn't have all the other claims. I have two shades. I have N6. This one is very neutral and very light. But what I like to do is I usually use this as a mixing medium with NC35. Now this one's way too dark for me. It's one of those things where I purchased it and I was like, I'm not sure what my shade is, and I bought it online and then I had to get something to mix with it to make it work. As you can see, no pump. There is NC35, N6, and then NC27. So I think NC27 will work just fine. The edges are starting to dry down a little bit and they're a little darker. It's not terrible, but it is oxidizing a little bit. When I go back and blend it out more and use my warmth of my finger, it makes it look more my skin tone. But as soon as it starts to dry, it gets a little bit more pinky, like a pink orange undertone. It's supposed to be for beige, neutral undertones. You can really see it right here. I think what I'll do is, just to be safe, and I want to make sure, you know, I'm giving this a really good shot, I'll put a little bit of my LA Girl mixing pigment. I'm going to do new on this side, old on this side, because I'm also going to go ahead and take this time to use the Prep and Prime under my eye on this side, and I wanted to do it on the old side. So we're going to see if this actually works. I've seen people talk about using this product under your eye, like Aquaphor, and I can see it working. The only thing I'm curious about is because on my lips, if you remember earlier, I said it makes my lips feel a little dry. It does make your lips feel blurred and smooth, so we'll see. I've got my mixing palette here. I'm going to take NC27, and I'm going to do 2 pumps. That'll be plenty, should be for one side of my face. I love having these mixing mediums. It's really helpful. I've got the blue and the white, and now I've even got a little purple one. Go ahead and apply it. I'm going to use this Smashbox blurring foundation brush, but first I want to kind of just feel it. It feels nice. Just blending it with my finger right there, it kind of looks like it's sitting on top of my skin, but we'll see. I'm going to really try to press it in and buff it in. It didn't seem to want to cover that sunspot. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to take the brush, got the foundation in it, and I'm just going to stipple all around. Wow, I must have picked up a lot. Definitely oxidizing, even with the white pigment. Wow. Okay. It should look fine once we add the other side and add all the other products, but just so you know, it does look a little bit yellow. Supposed to be, like I said, a neutral beige undertone. I'm going to take this Stands Out sponge and just grab a little bit more of the product to see if we can build that coverage a little bit right there. It's really not wanting to cover that spot. It's almost like you can see through the foundation. It's wild. But I'm really wanting to go ahead and get some foundation on the other side because I'm looking crazy right now. I'm going to go to this part of the palette and do the old formula. I usually use N6 and NC35 mixed together. I've used these 2 shades for a long time, so I know this works for me. I've never had to use the white when I mix these 2 shades. Do the BK Beauty 101 brush, and I'm going to pick up the same way. I'm just going to pack it into the brush and then stipple it on. You can tell this side's a little bit more neutral. It's still got a yellow kind of undertone to it, but it definitely looks a little bit more neutral on this side. I think maybe I should have used a tad bit more white on this side, but I think it's going to look fine once we get everything applied. If you are a close match to my skin, NC27 is a little on the warm yellow side. You might want to go down a shade or make sure you have a mixing medium. I really feel like NC27 will be a really good match for me in the summer. Like right now, my face is just super pale. No sun has touched my face yet at all. I kind of feel like the old side does the same thing when you look up close at it. It kind of looks like it's just sitting on top of your pores and your texture. And it kind of emphasizes it a little bit. But we'll see how products lay on top. I always like to use the sponge because I feel like that's really going to help press it in and make it look more airbrushed. New side, NC27. I feel like I got medium coverage and I don't really notice a difference upon initial application. I really don't. The shade maybe a little bit, but other than that, I feel like both sides look very similar as far as the finish goes. Typically, I'll go ahead and move on to like my liquid or cream contour bronzer and blush. So I want to show you this new product. This is from Polite Society. It's the Cabana Club Blurring Bronzer. Talc-free, hyaluronic acid, soft focus. I bought mine in the shade Club Tropicana. And I want to see, I don't even know. I think this is just a powder bronzer, but I want to make sure before I move on. I was kind of confused by the marketing. I was like, is it just powder or is it like a cream to powder? This is really nice packaging, first of all. It looks kind of like a matte purple hockey puck. This is what the shade looks like. And let's feel the formula. Okay, so it is powder. Okay. Good to know. I'm just going to use the Rare Beauty. I've been loving this. This is the Soft Pinch Liquid Contour, and I have the shade Solace. I literally am obsessed with this product. It's so good. It's very easy to use. You can literally put it everywhere and then blend it out. It's not going to dry down and be weird. Love this product. I usually use this to blend it out. The Morphe M243 Cream and Liquid Contour. I love this brush so much. Okay, let me show you. Because I've seen some mixed reviews on this, and I love it. You can blend it so easily. It just melts right into the skin. I usually just take my brush and tap it in where I want the bronzer to be, a contour. It's like a bronzer for me, because I don't have to use liquid bronzer when I use this. It's just like both. I take that, blend it like that, and then I'll take my Stands Out sponge and just tap it in. Literally melts right into my skin and gives a nice contoured effect. Love it so, so much. Beautiful. I'm so excited to finally try the Morphe Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trio. I have the shade After Party. It says Nude Rose. I have been waiting to try this with you guys, and I'm just so excited about it. It looks like the perfect blush for me. I haven't even opened this. All right, packaging. Look at this. This is nice. I'm getting fingerprints on it already, but that's okay. It's got 2 creams and a powder. So I believe the top shade is cream blush, cream highlighter, and then powder blush. The box says it. Satin cream blush on top, luminous balm in the middle, and then velvet powder on the bottom. I was right. So it shows you on the back. I'm actually going to try the highlighter balm too. I'm so curious about it, but I thought I could do it first. I'm going to use the small side of the Makeup by Mario F4, and this is pigmented. Okay. I just want to kind of put it up high here. It'll give it like a lit from within look. I'm shocked about the pigment. That's crazy. I didn't think the highlighter balm would be that pigmented. Should I swatch it for you? I should swatch it for you. All right, let's do the cream first. Okay, it feels very similar to the Patrick Taub cream blush formula. I want to show you in the pan too. Like, it's very emollient. Like, it's slipping around on my finger here. Feels like it could be a nice lip product too. Okay, now let's do the balm. Wow, the balm is super pigmented. I did not imagine it would be. That's crazy. So it's like a blush lighter. Okay. And then the powder blush. I don't know if you'll be able to see very much of that on my skin tone, but we're going to see. Yeah, I mean, it's showing up. It's looking just like Not Too Much from Patrick Taub, but also including that blush lighter. Wow, that's beautiful. Go into the cream now. I'm going to take the fluffier side of the F4 brush. Okay. This shade is beautiful. I knew I was going to love it. And I'm actually loving the highlighter balm too. It's the only thing is it going to be sticky? Is it going to dry down? It's accentuating a little bit of my texture, but I think once we add powder, it'll be beautiful. I'm going to jump to concealer really quick, and then I'll use the powder blush. This is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I have it in the shade NW20. This is a very full coverage concealer, and this shade's a little bit light. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush. This is the Delium Tools 788 Phase 3 brush. Looks like this, and this is what the concealer looks like. As you can see, one pump of this is a lot, and it's full coverage. I'm going to take it and then lightly apply concealer. This side does not have the prep and prime underneath. It's just my bare skin. And I want to be very careful and not apply too much concealer. But I want to cover everything too, so it's just a balance. This concealer, a lot of makeup artists still use it, and I think it's because it, first of all, is in a pump, so it's easy to be sanitary with it. It dries down to like a satin matte finish, which works for a lot of skin types. I will say it looks a little bit dry, but I barely applied any, so I'm going to add a little bit more and just see if we can make it work on my skin. It's been a long time. I have fallen in love with several concealers since this launched. Very little amount of product, but I did get pretty decent coverage. As you can see, here's with and without. All right, and you can see I have a ton of product left. I'm being very careful with this product, you guys. I remember it can look very thick if you're not careful. So make sure you're blending it out. So far, I'm not really noticing much of a difference between the side that I used the prep and prime, but we'll see. It'll all come out in the wear time. That's usually when you can tell. All right, I'm adding a little bit more just for some more coverage right here. Where I have the veins you want to cover, and it's hard to cover with a concealer that's a little too light. Just so you all know, any kind of purple or blue hues under your eye, they're going to be easier to cover with a concealer that's closer to your skin tone. I'm just going to use my typical under eye setting powder because I do not have a loose powder from MAC. And I'm just going to use these little Morphe finger puffs, whatever they're called. And I'm just going to use my Uma Beauty Trip and Smooth powder. Make sure I'm not using too much, so I'm kind of just knocking off the excess. I've got the powder on the puff. I've got my Real Techniques Miracle Concealer Sponge, and I'm just going to tap it around and make sure that I don't have any creases before I set this concealer down. There is still glitter all over my face. Those MAC Dazzle shadows were very disappointing. Alright, I'm going to lightly set. The MAC Pro Longwear Concealer set on this side and then unset. And you see how little this puff is. And I'm using very little powder on just the tip of it. And you see how smooth that looks now. I don't really notice much of a difference right now under the eyes. This side might look a little smoother. I just lightly set my face with the Nakia Joy Cosmetics powder. I have the old MAC Studio Fix powder foundation, and I have it in the shade NW22. And then I have the new reformulated MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation, 24-hour oil control, buildable blur matte finish. I bought it in the shade in 6.5. I thought I ordered in 6, but I guess I didn't. This is what the new packaging looks like. And I've seen some pretty bad reviews, so I'm kind of worried about it, but the shade looks okay. This is the shade NW22, so I'm going to put them side by side. I think they might be a little bit different, but they're very similar, very close. NW22, and I usually just use this powder as like a finishing powder. You can use it as a powder foundation. It is highly pigmented and very, very nice powder. I've loved it for a very long time, but it's been a long time for me since I've used a powder foundation as an actual foundation. Sometimes in the summertime, I'll use like a tinted moisturizer and just throw a little bit of powder foundation on top just to give a little bit more coverage. Or like a tinted SPF. I'm just taking this powder and pressing it in just to further smooth and blur and add a little bit more coverage to the skin. Very lightly over top of the contour and stuff. That is the old Studio Fix powder foundation. My skin looks super smooth. Looks really nice. This is in 6.5, new formula. It does look a little darker, but that's okay. Let's just see. Yeah, this one's a little bit darker. It shouldn't matter too much for what I'm using it for. And I think for me personally, using it as a finishing powder, I'm not noticing much of a difference. But I feel like if I were to use it as a powder foundation, that's when I would notice more of the differences that other people have noticed. So I'm going to take it on a brush now and just grab a little and do what I typically do, which is just further stipple in some of the product. Go back to the old side. Do the same thing. All right, good enough. Now I'm so excited to try this Polite Society bronzer. Again, the shade is Club Tropicana. It looks like it has a little sheen to it. Let me swatch it for you. It's right here. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice. It doesn't seem to have too much of a sheen to it. It kind of looked like it at first, but I think it's like a film over top of it. All right, I'm just going to load it up in the brush and see what happens. It has a weird smell. Ooh. It smells like plastic or something. I don't know. I will say it is buildable. The more I stipple, the more I notice it. It's looking good. I'm able to build it up, and I think now that I've got through that initial layer, I'm getting more pigment now. And I will say it looks really good. I can see that blurring happening that they're talking about, so that's good. We love to be blurred here. Let's go into that powder blush from Morphe. I'm so excited to try it. I've got the Morphe M202 blush brush. It seems to be pretty pigmented, like it seems like it grabbed a lot. Definitely has a sheen to it, the powder blush does, which is not a huge deal, but we literally just blurred everything out with that bronzer, and it's kind of enhancing all of my texture right here. I love the cream and I love the balm actually, but let me put a little bit more of the cream maybe on top. I like it, but I don't love it for my textured skin, but we're going to add a little bit of powder on top and see if that will help, blur that texture back down a little bit. I'm going to go back into the old side, NW22, and do stippling motions. That should smooth it out a little bit. Yeah. In the 6.5. All right. Let's do my MAC Fix Plus. Shake it up. This is the old packaging. They have a new packaging that I will repurchase, but for now, we're going to use this up. This just makes everything so nice and just blends everything together. I love this product so much. All right, this is the MAC Lip Pencil in the shade Whirl. I also have the shade Cork, which is just a brown. All right, using a little bit of Cork, which is just a very pretty light brown. Just kind of outlining with that. Now I'm going to take Whirl on top and just kind of blend them together. All right, I like that combination. While I'm at it, let me just show you all the MAC lipsticks that I do have. Starting with the two newest in my collection, I have Flesh Pot. I might use that. And then I have Cream de Nude, which is a little bit lighter. Velvet Teddy, which is a mini. This one's Honey Love. This one's the matte formula. I like this one. And then this is Thanks It's MAC. I love this one too. Modesty. And this is in like a limited edition packaging. Cream Cup, which is one of my favorites. A light pinky shade. And Cream in Your Coffee, which is a little deeper. I have the Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balms from e.l.f. I've got Strawberry Shortcake and Vanilla Toffee. So I thought we could probably put these on top of my lipstick. And I think I'm going to use Flesh Pot today. Let's see. This is the satin formula. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous nude. Let's pull these out and look at these new e.l.f. lip balms. This one's Strawberry Shortcake. They look pretty pigmented. Yeah, they are. They have pigment. I don't want to add too much. So I just added a little bit of that. I do get the flavor. I'm tasting the Strawberry Shortcake, but you see it just added a little bit of shine. Let's see what the Vanilla Toffee looks like. I'm hoping this one will look a little bit like iced coffee from Summer Fridays because that's like my favorite. And it's definitely that brown nudie shade. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely pigmented. Look at that. You might have to be a little careful with these if you're using them on top of a lip look because it could alter the shade a little bit, but beautiful. All right, this is the completed look. Is it my favorite look? No, but I think it came together pretty nicely. Now, I'm not going to do a wear test or anything today. I just wanted to put on some makeup, talk a little bit about each product. All right, so starting off, do not waste your money on these MAC Dazzle Shadow Sticks. When I swatched these, I thought they were going to be amazing, but on the lid, they just did not work for me. I will say I'll try them again without eye primer and see if I can make them work, but the biggest thing for me is the amount of glitter fallout. I still have glitter all over me, and it's from these. Of course, I am wearing glitter eyeshadow now, but I'm telling you, it had nothing to do with it. It is these Dazzle sticks. I'm very bummed about it. That is my first impression of those, but I just have a feeling that I'm not going to love them. So I wanted to share that. e.l.f. Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balms. I'll have to, of course, wear these some more. I just lightly topped my lips, but I will say the Strawberry Shortcake tasted really good and was a little bit lighter in pigment, I would say, than this one. This one seemed very pigmented, but other than that, I really like them, and I'll have to let you know in the future how they apply on their own. The Morphe Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trio. I feel like you kind of got my vibe in the video, but I love the cream blush, and I love the actual balm highlighter that I honestly didn't think I would even want to use. But I loved both of those. The powder, however, had a little bit too much sheen, which is very weird because I don't really see it. But on my cheek, and it could be a combination of everything together, but it just seemed a little, well, you can kind of see it there on my finger. It just has this sheen to it, and it doesn't look, it's not very flattering on my texture. Let's just put it that way. But overall, I love this. I love the shade. I am very happy with it, and we made it work. So that's good. All right, the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation, and the newly reformulated Fluid Studio Fix. Okay, I feel like, to me, there's not much of a difference with this one right now. I'll let you know in the comments if I notice a difference in the wear time, but I don't feel like there's much of a difference whatsoever. The powder foundation, I don't really notice much of a difference either, other than the shade, of course. I think this in 6.5 is a little bit deeper, but as far as blurring and everything, I honestly feel like this side looks a little bit more blurred than this side. Just, you know, keep that in mind. This is just my opinion on it, but I think both sides look really good. I was just experiencing a little bit of shine right there, but I have seen several reviews of the new powder foundation, and from what I can tell, people are a little bit bummed by the formula. Like I said, I'm not using it as a foundation, so for me as a finishing powder, I think it did really nice. I think it looks really, really nice. The foundation, same thing. I feel like it did a really good job. The shade was a little bit off for me today, but that's very minor. We can fix it with pigments, and in the summertime, I think it'll be perfect. I love this formula. I've loved it for years, and to me, I don't really notice much of a difference between the old and the new. So I'm happy to report that. And then with the powder foundation, I'll just have to kind of let you know if I do try it here soon with like a tinted SPF or a tinted moisturizer and this on top. If I notice a big difference, I will for sure let you guys know in the comments of this video. The Polite Society Cabana Club Blurring Bronzer, I really do love this. I bought it in the shade Club Tropicana. You guys, this was really, really good. I loved how my skin looked when I applied this. It did definitely blur out my texture. So this one's a win. I highly recommend this. This MAC primer has been a favorite of mine for years. I always have this in my collection. When I run out, I instantly repurchase. It's a classic, really good primer for people with combination oily skin. So if you've never tried this before, I definitely check this one out. MAC Prep and Prime Lip. Let's talk a little bit about that because on the lips, I feel like it just kind of smooths everything out and looks a little bit more blurred. It blurs your lip lines a little bit. But I will say that I am noticing I used it under this eye, and this eye appears to be a little bit more smooth. So this is a good hack. I highly recommend trying that. I will try the Aquaphor here soon. The MAC lip liners, those are a classic. Costa Riche eyeliner, really good eyeliner. Nothing bad to say about those at all. House Labs mascara, you all know my feelings on this. I'm going to keep using it to try to use it up, but it's just not a favorite. My lashes just do not hold with this. So, pass on that. MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. This has been a staple in my collection for years, and I love it. I used it very sparingly today, and I think it did a really good job. I lightly set it. So, this is a wonderful concealer if you're looking for one, and the fact that it has a pump is a good thing for some people. Other people might hate it, but it's a really good concealer formula. The MAC Satin Lipsticks. I love these. Flesh Pot is what I'm currently wearing, and I love it. So, yeah, definitely recommend these. Can't go wrong with a MAC Nude Lipstick. I also used the NYX Blade & Shade Nano Brow Pencil today. I love it. The Rare Beauty Brow Gel. You all know I love it. The Divina Cosmetics eyeshadows. 10 out of 10. So sparkly and reflective. So pretty. I used the Nikkia Joy Cosmetics powder. That's been a favorite of mine for a long time, and I just used it lightly to set everything down. The Rare Beauty Liquid Contour, I've raved about this several times now since it's released. It is a favorite. It's so good. I hate that it has mixed reviews. Some people are really hating on this. I think it's a lovely product, and I'm so glad to have it in my collection. Fix Plus, you all know, this is just a classic. I'm getting really low on this one. I will repurchase the new packaging as soon as this one's gone. I love this stuff so much. I think that's about it. That is all for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said, the final look came together. It was just kind of a process to get through, but we got there. Let me know what you all think. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon.